my tent, I'm pretty sure I had those little weights on my tent. I think I
Uh-huh.
did have some of those, but they weren't very heavy and it was pretty windy.
Oh no.
So there were several times when my tent acted like it was going to lift off the ground and go up flying in the air.
Oh
And that
no.
was like terrifying.
Oh no. It's gonna launch itself up with your paintings and be gone. Oh no. Auntie
So,
M. Auntie M.
yeah, this was definitely like after this craft show, I did not want to do any more shows like that at all. Welcome to Creative Type Podcast. This is episode 8, Artists Beware, Stories from Real Artist Life. And I'm Lori Rivera.
And I'm Jamie Haney.
And we're your hosts for Creative Type Podcast. So today we thought we would share some little horror stories that we have. And as you can imagine, as an artist, there can be quite a few of those. So
Oh yeah.
I'm starting off. Oh, well, first of all, how was your week, Jamie? How's your week going?
Oh, I have had the week from hell.
Oh
Well,
no.
yeah, we have a well.
Yeah.
We have a well. I live way out in the country, and my son, he's 16 now, oh, he'll be 17 in a month. He decided that he was going to take like a 40-minute shower. And anyone that has a well knows that is not a good idea. And I did not know that he was taking that long of a shower because he's up there forever anyway. But apparently he said he stood there under the hot water. I said, "Did you run out of hot water?" "Well, yeah, kind of. It started getting not very warm." I said, "Son, you cannot do that." Well, this was after we had already discovered the next morning when I turned on the water and there was no water. So
Oh
that's,
yeah.
yeah. So it's not that our well ran dry. It's just well, it did it made it so low that the little pump at the bottom sucked up all this silt and clay and minerals and things that are at the bottom. Our well goes 250 feet down. So it's pretty deep. And it sucked all that stuff up and it clogged all our filters in the house.
Oh
So I
my
turned on the water
gosh.
and there was nothing,
Yeah,
nothing.
that's scary.
That is scary. That so living out in the country has some uh, uh, awful stuff too, like what we're going to talk about
Yeah.
today about
Yeah.
artists beware. All right.
Right.
How was your week? How did yours go?
Not too bad. I had to take little Rudy to the vet though. And
Little
it's
Rudy
always
Toot.
fun. Yeah, it's always fun getting them in their carrier. That's always a
Yeah.
nightmare.
There ought to be a name for that. Cat calisthenics or something like that.
Right, right.
Cat terror.
Yeah, but then after his appointment was over, he was glad to get in that carrier and come back
Oh,
home.
yes, yes. Oh, that's it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it's been a pretty normal week, really, other than that.
Oh, that's good. Well, and you got a new painting behind you there. I see.
I did.
Is that finished?
Yes, I finished this painting. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Finished
I love
that.
it.
Thank you. So, all right. Well, I guess let's get started.
Okay, let's do it.
So, I am going to tell you guys about the first craft show experience I ever had, in which it was a true horror story. It was a nightmare. So,
Oh,
I had just left my job. Uh, it was 2016, and I decided I wanted to be a full-time artist. Well, little did I know that was going to take years and years and years to build up to.
right?
You think when you leave your job, oh yeah, I'm going to be an artist. It's just going to like take off right away. Well, it doesn't happen like that usually.
No, not usually.
So I was on the internet looking for shows I could do, and this is literally like this was in October. I think I had left my job. Well, I left in October, at the beginning of October. So I was like just getting right in there and doing this craft show right away. It was a craft show I found
Well,
about.
you were gung ho then.
Oh yeah, I was determined I was going to get going and start selling some stuff and.
Did you have a
So
large inventory?
not really, not
Yeah,
compared to what I have now.
sure.
But I had enough to do a little craft show.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm on the internet looking for all these shows, trying to find somewhere to get my art out there. And I find this little show a couple hours away. And of course, it just sounded like a dream come true the way they describe it.
Oh, of course.
We
Yeah.
have this many people coming every year, and just they made it sound so great. So I
Mhm.
thought, oh, I'm going to sign up for that. And I can't remember how much it was. It was probably like maybe $20 or something. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money.
Uh-oh.
So it's not
Red
like I
flag.
was, yeah, right.
That's a
I
red
was,
flag now.
yeah, exactly. So I wasn't out a lot of money. Okay. But so anyway, uh, our daughter stayed with my parents that day. We left early in the morning. It probably started around 9 o'clock, 9 or 10. So we
Oh,
left
wait,
here.
wait. So you had your husband help you. He
Oh
packed up
yeah.
stuff with you. Oh, so
Yeah.
that was pretty good. Well, so you're off
Thank
to a good
God.
start. You're off to a good start. You go into this great
Yeah.
show that they've promised, gold in the
Yeah.
streets. And
Right.
okay, so you've packed up and now, all
Yeah.
right.
So we're on our way and I'm all excited. We're driving over there. We get there and we're like, oh my gosh, where do we park? Because they didn't really give good directions. And it's a small town. So it's not like it was that big of a deal. We found it pretty fast. But, when you first get somewhere and you're unfamiliar with the area, you're never sure where to go,
Right. So was this
So
in a park? Is this an outdoor craft show or
it
an
was, it was,
inside?
it was along like the main street. It was
Okay,
an
so it's an
outdoor show.
outdoor show.
And you know how I feel about outdoor shows. Of
Yeah, I
course, at
know.
the time, I had no idea how much
Mm,
work they were because this was my first one.
right, right.
So we finally found a parking spot, and I kid you not, it was probably, I would say, at least an eighth of a mile away from the booth. Now, that doesn't sound very far, but when you're lugging paintings,
Oh yeah.
it is far.
That's a long way. So you didn't
Oh,
have
yeah.
any kind of buggy system or
I had this little cart, but it
okay.
wasn't working right. All my
Oh,
paintings were
of
falling
course.
off. Yeah.
No.
My paintings were falling off the cart.
Oh
So
no.
one of us had to push the cart and the other one had to hold the paintings on there. So it really wasn't serving the purpose it was supposed to serve. That cart
Oh,
was
yeah.
basically useless.
Hindering you actually.
Yeah, actually it
Yeah.
was. So anyway, we had to make about, oh, I don't know, probably 4 trips to the booth, from the car to the booth and back and then back again. And so it was about 4 trips. And well, this is the first time I had ever used a tent also.
Okay.
So, those are a little tricky if you're not used to them.
Yeah. And you had not practiced before, huh?
Not really, just once in the yard with
Oh,
my
okay.
dad.
Well,
My dad
all
helped
right.
me and
Yeah. But you didn't have your dad with you this time though, did you?
no, no, I can't remember if Mike was out there with us too. He might have been out there in the yard with us practicing too. I honestly
Okay.
can't remember. But
Okay.
so we finally get the tent up. It was a little bit of a feat, but we
Uh-huh.
finally get it up. I get all my art in the booth. And oh, and I didn't know how to hang my art
Oh
because
no, you hadn't planned ahead?
well, no, I did, but this is
Oh.
what happened. So I decided I would take those zip ties
Mhm.
and hang my paintings from the bars of the tent. I
Oh.
thought, oh yeah, that's just a wonderful idea. Well, not.
Oh no, you didn't have walls then. No walls to
No,
the tent. Oh,
no,
okay.
they
Okay.
were the paintings, even though they weren't huge, they were still a little too heavy to hang like that.
Oh no.
So it ruined my tent. One of the corners of the tent would not stay up.
Oh
So
no.
all day we were trying to keep that up. It kept falling down. Okay, so that was a nightmare in itself. Then there was just not much traffic at the show, and it was mostly a craft show. It was an arts and craft show, but it was mostly, honestly, I was probably the only like fine artist there.
Really?
Maybe
Yeah.
one other one, maybe one or two, but it was mostly like hair bows and things like that.
Right.
More
Right.
crafty stuff.
Things you expect to see at a craft show.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it was just, and my tent, I'm pretty sure I had those little weights on my tent. I think I
Uh-huh.
did have some of those, but they weren't very heavy and it was pretty windy.
Oh no.
So there were several times when my tent acted like it was going to lift off the ground and go up flying in the air.
Oh
And that
no.
was like terrifying.
Oh no. It's gonna launch itself up with your paintings and be gone. Oh no.
So
Auntie M. Auntie M.
yeah, this was definitely like after this craft show, I did not want to do any more shows like that at all. I did end up
Oh.
doing some more like Funk in the City, which we'll talk about later, but it was just all around not a good experience. And I did not sell one painting that day.
Oh no. So well, it was an expensive learning experience, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, And luckily,
Yeah.
you didn't sink a lot of money into the show. Of course, had
Yeah.
you sunk more money into the show, it might have been a better show. A
Well, maybe
$20,
so.
yeah,
Yeah.
$20 show, I don't think now our expectations would be very low
Yeah,
with
right.
that.
Now they're about what, 75 or something like that for
Yeah,
a
and
decent
high, and
show or higher.
that's just a little like show here in town. So
Yeah.
you go to these big shows, that you hear about, like Cherry Hill and St. Louis
Oh
and
yeah, and then
Florida.
St.
Oh my
James and
God. Yeah.
Louisville.
Oh yeah. You can't even get into
Yeah.
those shows.
Oh, I
And
know.
and I think you're talking about like $2,000 for a booth. Now that's probably
Wow.
multiple days, but I'm in a group that talks about Art Fair Insider, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And it has all that. And I'm amazed. I'm really amazed that anyone can make an income doing that. These people are hardcore
Hmm.
too. God, you got to love them, right? They are out there like 50 weeks a year, some of them. And
Yeah.
they travel all over the place
That's
following
hard
the show
work.
circuit. It is
It
hard
is
work.
very hard work. Yeah, doing those outdoor shows, especially. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. In
Lugging
the
that
heat,
tent and your paintings
right?
or your jewelry or whatever it is you have.
Right.
It's like, whew.
Yeah, and people may not realize you don't get your money back if you cancel or if it rains, like the one that we have, the big one that we have here
Right.
in Evansville is a rain or shine. So you don't get to say,
Hmm.
oh, maybe they'll cancel. No, they never
Right.
cancel.
Now they've closed early before, I think, right?
Well, when there's severe weather,
If, yeah,
yeah,
severe weather. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
not rain. Regular old rain doesn't stop them. And I've even been there in the thunder, but as long as
Mhm.
it wasn't like tornadoes coming, then I think they keep it open. Or straight
Yeah.
line winds. I have done a show that we were on the river and they didn't cancel the show. So I showed up. It was in Henderson and we're right on the river. And about half the people that the vendors did not show up.
Oh no.
So there wasn't very many of us and we're setting our tents up and tents are rolling. It was bad.
Oh my gosh.
We had like sustained 20-mile-an-hour winds. That's a lot. And plus being on the
Yeah.
river makes it a lot. But I lowered my tent. You can lower it and kind of anchor it down a little better. And I did stick it out for a few hours, but when everyone else is wrapping it up and leaving, what's the point?
Oh, right.
So that was I think I sold a few things because I think honestly people felt sorry for me. But being out there, but yeah, that's just a chance you take. It's a roll of the dice, isn't it?
Yeah, it
It's
is.
always a crapshoot. You never know what
Yeah.
kind of show it could be. Also, I've done shows where I'm sitting there sweating, 100-degree weather, and in this southern Indiana humidity, it felt like
Oh
probably
yeah.
115. I've done shows like that too, and oh my
Oh, me
gosh, I
too.
don't. I don't even know what's worse. It just seems like whatever you're in at the moment is the worst.
Yeah, just
Cold
still
and cold. Yeah, I've been in
yeah,
cold shows.
same here. Yeah, you just
Yeah,
never know. These outdoor shows are so unpredictable. I mean,
right.
like you said, especially around here, you never know what the weather's going to be like. It could
That's right.
be 90 degrees and at the end of, March
Oh,
or
yeah.
or you just never know.
Well, so you were going to mention the Funk in the City show. Are you ready to
Yeah.
talk about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Well, one more thing I wanted to say about
Okay.
that show in that little small town about 2 hours away. I have never been so ready in my life to leave an event. I was,
Yeah. Yeah. You were packed up and
I
ready,
was
huh?
so glad to get out of there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, Funk in the City. I think we've mentioned that show on this podcast before.
Right.
It's just a local art show here in town. They have it in the spring and fall each year.
Mhm.
And what I'm thinking it was 2018 in the fall. Yeah, I think that's when it was. I did that show and were you there that year? Can you remember? Fall of
Yeah.
2018?
Oh, I probably was. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did. I
probably.
did Funk in the City for several years, and then I kind of slacked off,
Yeah.
and then
But
it's kind of sporadic for me now.
right. It rained the
Yeah.
whole day.
Oh wait, I think
The
I was
whole
there.
day.
I
The
was
whole
there.
day. And there
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like no traffic whatsoever.
This was spring, you say?
No, it was fall.
Fall. Okay. Well, the spring one rained also.
Did
So
it?
I think it was
Yeah.
the spring one that I was at, but I'm not positive.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know if your tent is like this, but the tent I had at the time, it was not waterproof. I mean, the
Yeah.
rain was coming through the top of my tent. Not a
Yeah.
lot, but enough that all
Drips
my
here and
paintings were
there.
getting
Yeah.
wet.
Oh, that's no
And
good.
oh my gosh, it was awful. Like everything was just soaked. And
Mm.
yeah, it was not fun at all. And like I said, there was like no traffic. I did sell about, oh, I think maybe about 3 or 4 small paintings. And when I say small, like really small, almost like miniature size, like five by
Okay.
five, 6 by 6.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
that's like we said, it's the crapshoot. You never know if it's going to
mhm.
be worth going for at all. Now, the show that I was at, I'm not sure if we were at the same show. I remember you talking about that one. I did it, and now we might have different tents because I don't remember it dripping in that much. And a lot of times you get a tent that'll catch the water. And then some
Oh yeah.
lucky and participant that's standing just outside. I've seen people get drenched when
Oh
the tent
no.
rolls and the water will just splash down.
Oh, what a nightmare.
That would be bad. Can you imagine a potential collector standing there?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They would leave right away, I think, no, with no painting in hand.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I did a show that it just rained the entire day. Now, I don't remember it raining really hard, but it did rain the entire day. And I luckily was under a tree and I had my pop-up tent. And I think I've got an easy up. It was about a $300 tent from Sam's. So, I think
Mhm.
the quality of your tents also makes a difference. Mine isn't a
Right.
super good quality, but it's better than what you could pick up at Walmart or, a sporting
Yeah.
goods store for a tailgate party. It's better than that. And it's got all the sides that I can zipper in and stuff. And I think I had my sides in to keep the chill off of me.
Mhm.
But I ended up doing surprisingly well. I was shocked. So you just never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You
Yeah, and
never
our
know.
friend Vicky does really well. She used to do really
Right.
well at Funk in the
Yeah.
City.
I
Yeah,
admire Vicky. She plans ahead.
she does.
She does so well because she has just a few things she takes, and I never learned from this. And she's in and out. Of course, she's got sometimes her
Mhm.
husband helping her, but she has it to where she can pack up her stuff and she is gone. It doesn't take her long to set up. It seems like I'm in a marathon when I'm setting up
Same here.
and taking down. I mean, I feel like I bring everything in the kitchen sink. And I really need to work on that because, we hear from, well, you know what I mean? We hear from people that say, you have too much, then people don't make a decision
I
because
was
it's
just gonna
overwhelm.
say, yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
hard because you're like packing stuff up and I got this and this and this. And, well, if it's sitting in my studio, I can't sell it. So, but I do think it is overwhelmed but it's very
Right.
hard for me to pare down. Now, have you learned from that or have you taken too
I'm
much?
trying to learn from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to take when I would do shows like that, I would take all kinds of stuff, all different sizes, all different prices, which I think it's good to have different prices, of
Mm-hmm.
course.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think you do have to think about, okay, do I have too many choices,
Mm-hmm.
like you were saying? Because when you present people with 10 choices versus 2 or 3, well,
Mm-hmm.
they're more likely to buy if you have 2 or 3 choices, I think.
Right. I think you're right there. So we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but have you ever had anything stolen at a
Uh,
craft show
to
or
my
an art show?
knowledge, to my knowledge, I have not.
Well, I tell you what, word spreads like wildfire at a show if somebody gets something stolen. One time at Funk in the City, because that's like our major one here. So we talk about that one a lot.
Yeah.
A jeweler friend of ours had a piece stolen. And it was, just
Hmm.
some teenager kid, just, not thinking they were, not thinking is basically what it is. I think that's kind of what happens, oh, I want that. I'm going to take it. So they did. And I don't think they got it recovered, but oh, she was going around telling everyone. So word really
Oh, I
spreads.
bet.
I don't know that I have, like you said, I I had suspicions one time that I had something taken, but I can't prove it because I did not used to keep an inventory of what I
Mhm.
had at the show, which is a bad idea too. You need to know what you're taking, so you can keep inventory because if you sell, say, a bunch of reproductions of a print, you need to know if you're gonna need to have some more made. So
Right.
there's always that side too, and then another beware is you when you go to these shows because it can't be helped. But do you ever see people taking pictures in
Oh,
your booth?
yeah.
Now, it can go both ways. Some artists get livid, and I have seen even signs in her booth, absolutely no photos are allowed. And then I've heard the other side of it to where, they figure they're going to get it somehow anyway, and
Yeah.
that, they've already created this piece. And now, if those other people want to create it, then let them. It won't be the same. Nobody can create an identical piece as yours.
Oh, right.
But I think with today, it's so easy to go and have a canvas print made. I think that is more of the worry now.
Mm.
At least that's what I think. I don't, I would not stop someone for taking a picture. I caught someone actually
I
taking a
wouldn't either.
picture. I caught someone at an early show several years ago. And I was actually, I had a partner and she was writing poetry. And then I was doing artwork for the poetry. And there was a, there was a mistake in the poetry, misspelling. And it was like a don't, and it was missing the apostrophe. And this guy was taking a picture of it. And I just happened to go over there and I asked him. Well, then he kind of got embarrassed that he got caught taking a picture. I didn't even approach him in a mad way. I just said, "Oh, do you like this piece?" Well, he told on himself. He said, "I'm going to show it to my students." Turns out he was a professor at a local university here, and he had seen the mistake in there, and he was basically going to make fun of us. And
Oh, no.
that made me mad. So I told
Yeah.
him, I said, "No, that is not right. You need to get rid of that photo, please." And he we almost had a shouting match right there because he was a jerk. I
Sounds
went and
like
got
it.
I went and got the show promoters, and had them looking for him. And I mean, because that was just rude. It was
That
really
was,
rude.
yeah.
Instead of him saying, "Hey, did you know you got a mistake on here?" and trying to be helpful, no, he wanted to like point it out and make fun of. And I guess in his eyes, maybe a learning experience for his students, but I thought that was really rude. I
That
mean,
was
why?
very
Who
rude.
would do that? So that is definitely a, a catastrophe for one of the things that sticks out in my mind
Oh,
of
yeah.
being bad. So beware of people taking photos. You might want to ask them what they're going to do with it.
Yeah. Now, see, it doesn't bother me too much,
Mm-hmm.
basically because I know I have all my images of my art on my website. And if somebody
Mm-hmm.
wants to grab something, they're gonna find
Oh
a
yeah,
way, you know?
that's for sure.
And we've
Yeah.
talked about that before.
Yep.
But and like we've said before, you don't want to have like 5,000 by 5,000 pixels on your website, of course.
Right.
But like,
Yeah.
if somebody wants something, they're gonna find a way.
Yep. That's right. And the same goes for Instagram and web and
Mm-hmm.
Facebook and all these places that you're sharing your artwork. Somebody can just easily screenshot it, swipe it, depend on, it's not
Right.
going to be, excuse me, it's not going to be a very high quality. And some
Oh
people
yeah.
don't care, but it's just one of those things. It's the nature of the beast we have to put up with. And you just have to, I kind of feel like I'm not going to worry myself with stuff like that. There's other things to worry about. I'm trying to just stay focused on moving ahead, right? Not on my past stuff. Now, I don't want to just make it easy for someone, like we said, with the pixels and all that. But you have to, what is it? You pick your battles.
Right, exactly. Hey, I thought of something else. I don't know if you've ever, Jamie, I know you well enough to know you've probably not done this before, but I
Uh
have.
oh.
So I had I was doing these charcoal portraits, I guess about, I don't know, a few years ago. I was
Mm-hmm.
taking some figure drawing classes. Well, anyway, I was posting these on Facebook and somebody saw them and they were like, "Oh, I'd love you to do a portrait of me." And without thinking, and I was just so excited, that she wanted me to do a portrait. So here I am. I use her photo off her Facebook profile and I create this portrait, which it was good practice anyway, but still, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have like, quote, an agreement with her to do this.
Uh-oh.
So I create this portrait thinking, oh yeah, because she said she was going to pay me and everything.
Oh no.
But I was dumb. I was so naive. I didn't talk to her about price or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, oh yeah, she'll pay me to do this. Well, I get it finished and I send it to her, and she's like, oh, I love that. You did such a good job, and just all that. And she never offered to pay for it, never, so
Oh no.
I learned the hard way not to be naive and just do something without, getting at least something in writing, whether it's if you don't want to do a contract, at least get it in writing on
Right.
email or something, before
Yeah.
you start on something. So now I have this charcoal portrait that I can't really do anything with, but it
Oh,
wasn't
you didn't give it to her.
no, it wasn't
Oh.
that big of a deal though. I mean,
So,
it's
but
not like it
she,
took hours and hours and hours to do,
right.
so
Yeah. And it was good practice, like you said, but
it
at least
was
you didn't, and she doesn't have the hard copy in her hand. Right.
right.
Yeah. Well, and it's not that you were dumb. That's not dumb. That's just
Yeah,
inexperience, right? You were not experienced at, that's one of the reasons we do this podcast is to bring light to certain things that we have experienced and we have learned a lot of times the hard way
right,
for artists that are just starting out to sell their work, not necessarily as just starting out painting, but if it's that type too, then they're all the welcome as well. But
right.
there could be someone that's painted for years and years and have just never tried to sell their work, and so they wouldn't
Mhm.
know either. But
Yeah,
definitely, the first thing you need to do is when they said, "Oh, you should paint mine," say, "Oh, I would love to. Here's my prices," and
yeah,
then
exactly.
it
Yeah.
would have ended right
Yeah.
there, right?
And I want to say too that I was not upset at that person at all.
Hmm.
I really wasn't upset because it was my fault that,
Well,
you
it
know,
was just a misunderstanding.
yeah, a
It wasn't really your
misunderstanding. It
fault. It was
wasn't
a
right.
misunderstanding.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like mad at her or anything
I get
at all.
a lot of friends that say, "Oh, I'd love to have a Jamie Haney original." Well,
Yeah.
you can have one. Let's talk about it,
Yeah.
I think that it's important that people understand that this is our job. This isn't just a hobby, at least for you and I, right? Now,
Yeah.
if you want to do that in your business, that's, you're the boss of you, like Jody King says. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
You are the boss of you. And you have to just know your boundaries, I think, is
Right.
what it is. And just have stuff set up. I think it's great to come up with ideas of scenarios that haven't even happened yet. So you'll know how to handle that.
Yeah, that's a good
Just
idea.
so, and by that, have prices for the sizes that that you work in. So if someone, and have them written down, not just in your head, because if you're like
Yeah.
me, then shoot, they go in one side and out the other. And I can't remember. I even have them
Right.
in my phone now. So not just written down. I took a picture of it. Now it's in my phone. So
Yeah.
if I'm out, someone can say, "Oh, well, how much is this?" Or "How much would it be if?" And I can give them a price right then, because I do think, we've talked about this before. I procrastinate a lot. It's character flaw, but but I'm trying to do a lot better. And action is, you have to really act on things quickly, because in this fast-paced world, things get forgotten. Just like if
Oh yeah.
someone, and you have to stay on top of stuff. Just like the piece behind you, someone had asked about a commission on it, right? Or not a commission, a payment plan,
Yeah.
and you acted right away. You got on it right away and got back with her, because I think if you had waited, like, a few days or a week or whatever, the person would have maybe even totally forgotten about it. So
Right.
I think it's a good idea to act quickly on stuff, and that kind of translates over to shows. You want to act quickly with talking to people at shows. If they ask you questions, be prepared. Have answers. Like I said, think of the questions ahead of time that people might come up with, and that way you're prepared and can act quickly. And
Exactly.
just like you were acting quickly when you were ready to leave your first craft show, weren't you?
Right. And it
Well,
was just as fun carrying everything back to the car as it
oh
was carrying
yeah,
it to the booth.
yeah. It does seem like it goes down quicker than it goes up.
Yeah, it
In
does
my,
seem like that. Yeah. Yeah,
because
but
you're throwing
it
stuff in
was still
boxes.
kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Oh, well, I hate that for you, but live and learn.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's my favorite saying. Live and learn. Back in the early days, when I first started doing shows, I always had my business card out there. Well, what I discovered, I started catching on after a few shows. People would, you notice what's happening, especially if it's not real busy. People would come by and they would either ask for a business card or I would see them pick it up. But then I started noticing that some people had a wad of business cards from all the other artists in there. Well, then, like I said, I started to catch on, and these were the people that were looking either for artists to attend their show, which was fine, or people that are in charities that wanted you to donate a piece. And then lo and behold, the next day I'd get a call or an email asking me to donate a piece. And I donated a ton of art. I even donated without even if someone asked me, I donated it. It doesn't even matter where it was for. If they asked for it, I gave it to them. One place, now this was a place that it was really dear to my heart, so I didn't mind it, but I painted a piece specifically for it, and it was I think it was like a 9 by 12 or something like that. Not super huge, but not tiny either, and it wasn't a print. It was a special piece. What irritated me the most about that was, well, it kind of hurt my feelings, I guess, more than anything. I got my ego bruised a little bit. Is when the person that was in charge of handling all the donations, I guess they felt like that wasn't enough. Like the artwork, I mean, we're talking about a piece that I had valued at over $100, if I were going to sell it. Well, she bundled it up with all this other crap, like stationery and some like Subway gift cards or other place, trying to like up the value of the basket that they were selling this stuff with. And you kind of have to educate people sometimes on what things are worth. And she just had no idea. First of all, I don't think she even knew that it was an original painting. So it is up to the artist sometimes to educate, what this is, and also educate the people that are working for the charity. Look, if it's something that is near and dear to your heart, like that was, then you're better off to give money. I will don't. That's how I am now. I will donate money, and then if I want, yes, but money you can deduct off your taxes. So if you want to be able to have that little bit of a tax relief, which is not always about that, but a lot of hey, this is a business. This art is a business for me, and as much as I love to do things, and certain things I don't mind giving away and not receiving anything for, but for people to call you out of the blue, you'd never heard of them, and then you never hear from them again, right? Never again. Do I ever hear not even not even a thank you or share. Like, I was kind of, again, got my feelings hurt that they never even told me who bought the piece. So there was no way for me to even kind of get a little something extra out of that and market to that person or contact them. Oh, I'm so happy that you bought that piece, tell them my story behind it, anything like that. There was no option for that. So, it's to each their own. You have to decide, what's important to you. But if we gave a piece of artwork away every time someone asked for it, we would be out of artwork.
That's all we'd be doing.
Right. Yeah. So this goes back to what I was saying. I stopped putting my business cards out there. And when someone came and wanted it, usually nowadays people don't ask for your business card unless they want it for that reason. I've never once had anyone ask me for a card since. And I stopped putting them out there because if, most people, they don't want to ask you for the card, but if it's there, they'll take it for the, for the charity or whatever.
Right.
I'll give you one more story and then we can wrap it up. Early on, here's another example. You have to watch out for yourself because there really are people that are maybe unknowingly taking advantage of artists. Well, this person came and they found me at a show. This wasn't my first show either. This was a little ways in. And, you kind of get wrapped up with someone who's excited about your artwork. And this person came to my booth and was just oohing and awing, loved my artwork, and gave me his card and said that he was writing a book and wanted to had this big event planned, like a traveling book signing, not really even a signing. I'm not even sure if he was going to be there, but it was this traveling event. It probably was a book signing where all these artworks, he wanted like 12 or 13 pieces of art created for this book signing. And each of the pieces of art, he was wanting this artwork to be commissioned basically to coincide with his stories. And each chapter wanted a specific painting for this book. And at first it sounded really cool. I thought, oh my gosh, what a fantastic opportunity. And I was all in, and I was attending, like, he sent stuff and he sent the book, and along with like a non-disclosure agreement that I couldn't talk about the book, and I'm not going to mention the book or the story or anything about it. But after I was already in and had these meetings and talked to someone, come to find out, he wanted us all to donate these, and he wanted these giant paintings, like 40 by 60. He wanted us to donate all this.
He could have told you that up front.
Exactly. Well, he knew that no one would agree to that if someone told him that up front. And then these were going to be on like an 18-month tour, and for this book, and you weren't going to get your artwork. Can you imagine the shape of your artwork, a canvas piece that it would be after going to all, it would not even be
dented and
Right. So I talked to someone about it, who he had also contacted. I think there was like 13 pieces. He didn't want me to do all 13, but I was going to do several. And he said, well, when I told him my concerns, he gave me a phone number to someone. No, actually, it was someone else who contacted me. I was given the phone number, but I didn't call. She contacted me and talked about how she was going to do this and how I should try to talk me into it and how I should join in. And I have no regrets. I did not do that. I even talked to an old mentor of mine, my old high school art teacher, and he thought I should do it. Something in my gut said, do not do this. And I followed my gut. And I think that is so important. Go with your gut. Go with your gut. So if it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. And I didn't. Right. And I have had no regrets because I've not heard word one about that. There was a big thing going with, oh, it's going to be made into a movie. It's going to be filmed in New Harmony. It never was. Nothing ever came out of this. It would have been a big fat waste of time. So I'm really glad that I went with my gut.
They want art, but they don't want to pay for it.
Now, are we talking about?
I haven't had that happen recently, but in the past I've had that happen.
Yeah.
More so when I was learning how to paint and really trying to hone in on improving my skill, and since I've gone,
they start off with, oh, you should paint this for me.
Right. Yeah.
So since you've gone what?
Since I've gone more of a professional route with my art, it doesn't seem like I get that too much anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good.
I think now, people know it's a business, and
right.
Are
you talking about family and friends, or are you talking about people wanting charity pieces?
Mainly family and friends.
Yeah.
Like I said, nobody's asked recently though.
Right. Yeah, I think you have to stand firm. I have found finally, I can hardly tell anybody no. That's my problem. I was having a hard time saying no to people.
It is hard.
Boundaries are hard.
They are.
As I've gotten older, I've gotten better with my boundaries. I've gotten better with saying no. Something happens. There's a light switch that flips when you turn 50, I think. Now I'm like, no. That's the end. No. But I think that to find a nice cushion for the blow to know is, oh, well, I have a friends and family discount. And just figure that you're going to do that, like 10 or 15, maybe 20%,
maybe
depending
even
on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying 10, 15, maybe 20, whatever you feel comfortable with. And just say, that way you're giving them a discount. They feel good about it. You feel good about it. And no one's given anything for free. And,
Right. And I think if a friend or family member is contacting you regarding your artwork, mention the discount
for
really fast in the beginning.
Right.
So they don't even have time to say, oh, will you do this for me? But I don't have money right now.
Right. Oh, your art is so pretty, but I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Yeah. This guy came up to me and I thought he was a customer. And he said, hey, have you got change for a 20? And I said, sure. So I gave him like almost all my ones, thinking, he was going to buy something from me, and I wasn't really catching on. I guess I was just kind of naive. Turns out he was the balloon guy for the kids. And he left with
Oh
all
my
my money.
gosh.
He didn't steal my money, but he took all my ones, so I had no
Yeah.
change to give anybody. I learned a hard lesson right there. And especially if you go to a craft show that's got children, that's kind of the kiss of death. The parents are there to entertain the kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that, I never went to another show, another craft show. That was the end. Well, this has been a great podcast. Artists beware. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, do you have any more things you can think of? Things that like
I
horror
think,
stories?
well,
I think we
off
have
the
a few
top of
more
my head,
minutes.
yeah, I think off the top of my head, I've gotten them all that I can think of.
Okay.
We can always bring it up again sometime if I
Yeah.
remember any doozies. There's always people that just kind of you're like, really?
We might have to
What?
have an artist beware part 2.
Yeah, maybe the clients, that
Yeah.
the show goers, because they're
Yeah.
sometimes they can be a very interesting bunch,
Yeah.
as interesting as the artist, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like here, I'll give you a little, for instance, they walk into your booth, you're standing there. Did you paint these?
Oh yeah.
No, no, I thought I'd just bring my collection here. That's what you want
Yeah.
to say. Of course you can't, you got to be nice. You can't say that. But yeah, I mean, that
Oh
floors me
yeah.
still. I even had one person, and they were an older gentleman, said, "Are these your husband's paintings?" I was like,
Gosh.
"Excuse
Oh my
me?"
gosh, I would be so offended.
I was kind of offended, but it's that generation.
Yeah.
It was an older generation, and you just got to let it roll off your back.
Yeah, you do.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Well,
Being
this
an
has been,
artist, yeah, you
yeah,
have to let a
you
lot
have
of
to,
things roll off your
you got to
back.
have a thick skin being an artist, don't
Oh
you?
yeah. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks. And we hope you join us next time. And hey, we don't have any shout outs to give today, but if you want to have a shout out of your name or business, leave us a review. We'd love a 5-star review and an actual written review. And we'll even add your name in the show notes. So if you liked this, share it with your friends, anywhere you want to on social media or wherever. We would be so grateful. And yeah, just give us a shout out. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.